Hello guys, Pablo here. Welcome to this new lesson. What we'll be looking into today is how to program tasks in our site so that those tasks are executed, say, every hour or once a day or twice a day. It allows you, for example, to send the administrator of the site an email with summaries once a day, or you could have you may want to calculate some aggregated data from your database, and you want to run that code once every hour or once a day. So it's something very useful, and we're going to cover that today. Now, something to keep in mind: these tasks are called a cron. Some of you, if any of you is familiar with some Linux administration, like some server administration, you might have heard or might be familiar with cron jobs. Well, the difference between these kinds of jobs and server cron jobs is that the ones in the server are executed with high precision. If you say once an hour, it is once an hour. Whereas when it comes to WordPress, just like any website or web application, the code of our website is dead until there's a request to the server. That request gets processed, there's a response sent back to the user, but if there's no request, the code is not executed. So if you program a task to be run every hour, and it's been 59 minutes, 60 minutes, and no one's entering your page, there's no request happening, then the task is not going to be executed until there's a request on your server. So just keep that in mind, that the precision is not the same as when you run tasks on your server. Let's work on a simple example. What this example will do, it will send the administrator of the blog an email every hour telling him or her to take their medicine. So let's, I'll just explain you how this works in general. What we will do is to schedule an event with a certain frequency, and we also have to check that this event has not been previously scheduled, because we don't want it to be scheduled all the time. We just want to schedule it once, and then it will run on every hour. So the first thing we have to do is to call the init action. When the init action is triggered, we want to call a function to initiate, to schedule our task. That will be this function that I just entered. So this one will take care of initiating the cron job function. And as I mentioned, we have to check that it hasn't been scheduled yet. Now, what is it that has to be scheduled? Well, it's going to be our own custom hook, our own custom hook action. I'm going to call it Zenba cron, Zenmail hook. When that event is triggered, it's going to send the emails. So it's going to send email, and we're just going to add this code a bit later, send email code here. So let's check that this hasn't been registered. We do that by calling WP next scheduled. We want to check if this has been scheduled. If it hasn't been scheduled, then, well, let's schedule it then. And we want to call WP schedule event. When is the event going to be executed for the first time in timestamp seconds? Well, now. Let's make it so that the first time that you run this, it will send an email to the administrator. Now, how often is this going to run? It's going to run hourly. What event are we triggering every hour? Well, the one we just defined. If you want to know what other time frames and more information about this method, I'll put the link in here. Feel free to check it out. And, well, let's send the email now. We want to grab the email of the admin of the blog, and we're going to use this function called getBlogInfo. You can learn more about it in this link. And now that we have the blog's owner's email address, we want to send that email through to them. Oops, sorry about that. And the name is just going to be admin, and the content of the message is going to be time for your medication. Now, in order for this to work, you need a server or a local host, local server or a remote server that has email configured. So we're not going to cover that because it really depends on the kind of system you're using and a lot of other stuff. But if you are able to send emails from PHP, then this will send an email to the email address that's specified here. So that's about it. You have to activate this plugin. The first time you have any request on the server, it will run it. This is the first time, and then it will run it every hour, assuming that someone visits your site after 1 hour. Just to summarize, what we did was to check that the task wasn't scheduled. Then we did schedule it with a certain frequency. We had to define this as an event and define what happens when the event is triggered. And what happens is we grab blog information, we grab the email address of the admin, and we send them a reminder.